Here.
Pete will be here momentarily. He'll join the show in a few minutes. Okay.
Here on the PHNX Coyotes Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Craig. Petey is kind of here. Sean also here. How's everybody doing? How were your weekends?
Had a good weekend. Really good weekend.
Yeah, it's fine.
I saw Oppenheimer yesterday.
Did you really?
Nice.
Where'd you see it?
Cine Capri.
Oh,
Cine
Jackson.
wow.
Yeah.
My son saw it at the Tempe Town IMAX thing, like the big screen.
Yeah.
He said it's
Cine Capri was like the next best thing to see.
Unreal.
That's a cool place, actually.
they say it's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
On a big
That
screen.
was a long movie. Like,
But according to people, doesn't feel long because it was interesting.
it was very interesting. It felt long when I started having to go pee, and I was like, I can't get up. That's when it started
Thanks
to
for
feel
sharing.
long. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Speaking of sharing, there's coffee cake, Sean. I just want to let you know in the kitchen. I know Petey and Leah won't have any
this has
because
been a whole thing
I
this morning.
appreciate that.
they rejected
Oh
my
my
Definitely get some
bounty,
later.
but go ahead.
You have something to say?
No, I was going to talk about your coffee cake, but then I thought of we went out to dinner on, was it Friday or
Thursday.
Thursday?
That was
And
Thursday.
the next invite is going to be Leah's mom is going to cook for us at home, and I'm already stressed about that.
Right? It's gonna
We
have to
don't
be
What the hell is
somebody
she
else's
get-
We
food.
haven't
don't-
even chosen
What's
a
she
date
going to
yet.
cook? Am I going to like it? Am I going to like? What if she mixes things together that I don't like? Then what am I do I have to eat ahead of time? Do I bring pizza? Is that rude to bring pizza to someone's
Yes.
house that has you over for dinner?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Leah, I was thinking at some point, like you and I have to cook for all the adults.
Yes.
I think that'd
Oh
be
boy.
hilarious.
All right. Well, enough about our lives
that
that
what
no
you
one
guys
cares
thinking?
about.
You're thinking that?
No, Sean is. He
I
just said it.
I just came up with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
We should do it in Sean's
Oh
apartment.
yeah, that's like me and my cat.
I don't want to get off this yet. What are you going to make?
The only like there's the only thing that I can make that's any kind of like actually a meal is my grandma's chicken casserole.
Okay.
That's some like good
I was afraid you were
old
gonna say toast or
northeastern.
something.
No.
Sean and I both couldn't both fit in his kitchen.
No.
That was the thing.
My
That's how small his
my kitchen I can touch. I can't reach my arms out in my kitchen. So it would be an interesting experience. But I can maybe cook you something that's not bad.
Also, now the chat's going on about lemon cake and lemon loaf. So
Anti-lemon loaf. Anti-citrus flavored baked goods.
what about
You're
a lemon?
anti-lemon
What about
loaf.
a lemon bar?
Anti-citrus flavored baked
Wow,
goods.
lemon bars are
See,
amazing.
Elite. Like that lemon pound cake they have at Starbucks is like the only food
That's
at
what
Well,
Starbucks.
that's
Steven's
not-
talking
not-
about.
Food at Starbucks worth eating.
No free ads, but I guess they pay us, so it's not really free. I don't like lemon flavored baked goods, but I've said this before. Like the pancakes that they have at the brunch at BetMGM Sportsbook are like lemon buttercream pancakes, something like that, and they are
You like
genuinely
those?
some of the best pancakes I've ever had, and I like those.
So there are exceptions.
So there are exceptions. But
Petey's texting.
Well, no, I'm sorry. This is my fault. I
Yeah.
created this.
Yeah, you did. Okay, well let's actually talk about hockey, and we do have stuff to talk about because it's finally done. The kind of final string that
I don't
hadn't
know why I
been
keep
tied
doing
up
that.
yet.
I might have to keep doing that.
Jack McBain signed a 2-year, $3.2 million contract yesterday on Sunday,
No. What'd
avoiding
you say?
arbitration.
1.5999999.
$1,599,999.99.
Can we just get that out of the way?
Can we talk about that first?
Yeah, let's get that
Can we
out of the way.
round up to 1.6?
Could they have just...
No,
Like
we
a dollar?
can. We
No,
can
we-
clearly, but
we couldn't.
your
and
thoughts?
A
Because I have
dollar?
a thought.
I just think it's
It's a
silly.
penny.
It's a penny.
I'm willing
It's
to
0.99
donate
each
a
year.
penny
Why?
to the Morellos.
Why is
Do you have a
right.
thought?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Just round up to 1.6.
But do you have a thought on why they did it?
Because they had to stay under 1.6.
Why?
Because that's the edict
It's
from the people holding the purse strings.
that and
Oh,
to
it's
me,
like to make a point?
you
This is how all contract
Yes,
negotiations
you can't
work. You have a ceiling.
Yeah, I've got a budget.
right?
You can't spend more than 1.6 million. So I'll spend 1.599 and 99. One sample. And now the owner can go, see, I won. It's below 1.6 million.
Yep.
That's why in the description
What?
of this, I said approximately 1.6 because I wasn't
So-
typing that all out.
Here's what's going to happen at training camp. Petey and I are each going to bring a penny and give it to Jack McBain so he can say.
I would give it to
1.6.
Morello.
Yeah.
As you would say.
I just think this is the last thing I'm going to say on it. The optics are fucking terrible on this again.
Yeah, they
it's
are.
so fucking dumb over a penny, and now you look dumb again.
And what's really
Unless the judge says it's 0.99, which he didn't because
But
it
no,
didn't go to
it didn't go to
arbitration. So it wasn't
arbitration.
the judge. Like it just looks bad.
what's sad about this is a good deal for the Coyotes, right?
It's a great deal.
They got Jack McBain at a good price.
Great number for 2
Good
years.
job by the people who do those sorts of things.
Unbelievable
But
management did
They're
a great
hamstrung
job.
by
finances and money. We get it.
Yeah, got all that.
1.6 for 2 years is a great deal.
Just go to 1.6.
It's a great deal.
Don't let people tee off on you for going 1.5.
Don't create another thing by yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Yep. Don't be the joke.
The Coyotes really sometimes just.
I'm sorry I swore.
No, but they walk right into it.
I'm sorry I swore.
They walk right into it
so many times.
But it's true. It's just don't. It became a joke on Twitter yesterday.
Yep.
And don't. Why would you do it to yourself? Sorry. I apologize for all those with young children.
Now that we're done talking about penny, the difference between pennies.
Now let's get into the good stuff.
We'll just talk more about it from a general sense.
No, I'm not quite done yet. I just you want to have a reputation as a shrewd negotiator or a really, but to squeeze. Listen, let's be honest. This was the rep before when contractors weren't getting paid. They're squeezing them. Enough. I get that this may work in other industries. Other industries aren't covered by media the way the NHL is. Every time you do something like this, it's going to come out. It's going to be a bad look. It's going to create a reputation around the league with players, with teams, with agents. Stop. Just pay the extra penny. It's just ridiculous. Pay the extra penny and be done with it and be happy that you really got them at a good deal. Okay. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah. No,
thanks.
I think that's.
Thanks. I'm sorry again. I'll apologize for swearing again. That's not my thing.
By all.
Sorry.
Okay, well, let's just recap what happened. Obviously, the McBain and the Coyotes were set to go to arbitration Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern. The arbitrator who got that assignment, boy howdy.
At 6? Or at 9 on a Sunday?
Yeah,
on a Sunday?
9 a.m. on a Sunday.
Thank you. And who gets that arbitration? Of course, it's the Coyotes.
Yeah.
The 6 a.m. start on Sunday.
Oh, my gosh.
Granted, it was 9 in Toronto, but still, first thing in the morning on a Sunday.
So to recap, the team had filed 2 years, $1.4 million per year, and McBain's team had filed 1 year, $2.9 million, and the settlement was 2 times, rounding up the penny, $1.6 million per year for 2 years. So what do you guys think of this deal? And first of all, I'm glad it avoided arbitration. Arbitration is nasty. You put a really interesting tidbit in the Discord yesterday about the number of players who go to arbitration and how many of them eventually leave.
Yeah, and that was from The Athletic. The Athletic did a study over a 10-year period from, I think it was 2009 to 2018, looking at, I think it was 27 players that went to arbitration. Within 3 years, 21 of those guys were on new teams. Why? For a couple of reasons. First of all, the airing of dirty laundry in these things is ugly, and it's hard to come back from that. Now, mind you, there were already briefs filed here, so there's stuff that's public. Jack McBain already knows a lot of what the Coyotes are saying about him to try and win the case, but more of it comes out in court. It can get ugly, and the other side of it is if the award is something that the team is not comfortable with, they're like, okay, doesn't work for our structure. We're going to move on from this guy at this point because it got to that point. So there are a couple reasons behind it, but those numbers, and I haven't seen them for the last few years. There weren't many cases that actually went to arbitration over the past 3 years. But that's pretty staggering. That's like, you're talking like 3/4 of the players are gone after 3 years.
But I think one of the things that this team can do, Craig, is management can go to Jack McBain and say, this is all financial. This has nothing to you as a person, as a player. This is a financial thing. We love you. We love the way you play.
Then why'd you write what you wrote in the brief?
Right, but I think you have to because you have to
Right?
limit the number. But it's about finances. You're still part of our future. We want you to be here to build. We think you're a part of our winning future. I think all of those things. I think you have to say the bad things. It's to show our number.
It literally
I
happens
get it.
at every arbitration.
Yeah, I
case.
get it.
It does.
And so they were able to walk away, make a deal, and I hope McBain can come in here and be happy because now let's go to the dark side again. This is McBain's second team, and the first team, the Minnesota Wild, basically demands a trade to get out. And now he's been here for a year and 10 games. So really 1 season. And now he's saying, hey, am I going to be the guy? Am I that guy that's going to make waves? Or what the deal was I was being offered wasn't, in my opinion, fair. I'm just highlighting that hopefully this does not become an issue. Because when you look through the history of this franchise and players that push that limit, Turris, gone. Didn't prove himself in this league yet. I know he played a lot of games and he ends up being a decent player. When Keith Tkachuk did this and held out,
yeah, he's a star.
Keith Tkachuk was a superstar getting 50 goals a year. 50.
And Turris held out too. That was the other side of this. It wasn't just arbitration, which is part of the collectively bargained agreement, right? You can do this. This is within a player's rights. Kyle Turris held out and was, if you remember those contract demands, and no offense, Kurt Overhart, who I know really well, was his agent. Like, I wrote a column after that. Like, did you spit out your morning coffee when you read his contract demands? Because they were ridiculous for what he had done. This is part of the legal process. Right. So let's differentiate between those.
So I understand. You just hope this doesn't happen again after the 2 years. Now it's going to be, I don't know. I'm glad he's a part of the Coyotes organization right now. I think he is seriously a very important piece in this thing moving forward. I really do. And we'll get to that in the next little bit. Yeah.
So let's talk about Jack McBain. And I think it kind of has to, it kind of what we talked about with Matias Maccelli, where, now he has a 3-year deal, and now it's up to him to prove his worth for when he signs his next contract. I think you can make a similar argument for Jack McBain. 2 years. He's only been in the league 1 full season, which was last season. Obviously, he came over to Arizona in the trade with Minnesota, which was a second round pick that the Coyotes had originally gotten from Vancouver, so they flipped that pick to Minnesota for Jack McBain. And last season, Jack McBain played all 82 games, had 26 points, 12 goals, 14 assists. We'll get into more of what specifically he brings to this team here in a minute, but just curious what you guys think about Jack McBain's, role on this team and what the kind of future outlook potential is for him over these next 2 seasons.
Yeah, and I know Petey's we're actually gonna get a good Petey's Puck Talk. I've received a preview of it this morning, so I'm excited for that in segment 2. But when Jack McBain came in, I think a lot of people thought 4th line center. That's where he belongs. Going to have limited offensive upside, but it can play a physical game, can match up, can skate pretty well. So he projects there. I think the ceiling may be higher for him now. I'm not saying Jack McBain is going to be a number 1 center or even a top 6 center maybe, but as a 3rd line center now, he might be effective in that role. And who knows? Maybe I shouldn't limit him even there. Maybe he could be a top 6 center at some point. But right now, I would say his ceiling's a little higher than 4th line center.
Yeah, one of the knocks on him coming in, you heard from other teams, was his ability to get up the ice, his skating ability. I didn't see that as a big deterrent in his first full season in the NHL. I thought he skated well. Now, is he an elite skater? No. He's not, but he can keep up with the pace of play. I think he pushes the play up the ice really well. I think he drives the net really well. So his biggest detriment coming into the league, I think he has actually pushed that aside. I don't think that's a big concern. I think I agree with you. I think he slots into that number 3 center role. I think he will provide more offense as his career continues. However, when you see what his strengths of his game are, when you talk about his size, his physical ability, I think those things lend him more to that checking 3rd line role.
Yeah.
But to do that role and to do that role well, I think is going to take experience. I think he's going to need to learn defensive reads better. I think he's going to have to learn when to hit. I think hitting is a big part of this game, but there are times when you hit somebody that takes you out of the play. Yeah. And I think that that's still a learning curve for Jack McBain at his age. And you can't just hit everything that moves. Sometimes it's better to, I need to veer off and I need to chase the puck here, or I need to get back and defend, whatever the case may be. So I think he is going to improve as a player. I don't think we have seen the best of Jack McBain. And I think last year his best hockey came after Bukestad was traded and he got to slide right into that role with Krause and Maccelli. And I thought he didn't miss a beat there. And I thought he rose to the challenge and he played extremely well.
I want to ask you something else on hitting that this really demands a coach's perspective, because the more physical player you are, the more you open yourself up to injuries. And I'm not saying you can shy away from that, but I wonder if coaches say, hey, pick your spots there as well, because you're going to wear out. Or does that even enter into the conversation?
And I don't know, only because of his size and what he brings to the table and the way that this team, including the general manager, wants this team to play. I'm not sure that's going to be an edict. I would be surprised. I think it's more of learning when to hit, not so much to preserve you physically, but knowing when to hit so that you don't take yourself out of the play, both offensively and defensively. And in the offensive,
it's the right read.
Right, because it's the right read. I think that comes with experience more than anything, that you go, okay, if I take this big hit right now, I'm going to be behind the goal line. I need to get to the front of the net. I need to go. So I think those things will come. I think his game right now, clearly the physicality is a huge part of it. I think there will become a more balanced part of his game, especially if you want to be in that 3-hole, because one of the responsibilities of a third line center is you have to defend extremely well. And you better be really good at it and smart and be able to read that. So I think those things will continue to improve. But I do see him in that 3 slot, and whether that's behind Hayton and Logan Cooley, 5 years from now, I don't know what that middle's going to look like. But I tell you, if that's your top 3 centers 5 years from now, and you're talking about a Jack McBain that's now in his late 20s and experienced and tough, wow.
It's okay.
Yeah.
As long as everybody's progressing, right? Like,
right.
if we see another step from Barrett Hayton and Logan Cooley ends up being the guy they think he's going to be. Yeah. They also have Connor Geekie in the system. We'll see what happens with him.
And maybe Connor Geekie's a 2 and Hayton moves to the wing again.
And they have 3 more drafts stacked with high draft picks as well. 12 picks in the first 2 rounds of the next 3 drafts. So maybe they add another guy to the mix. We'll see.
Were there more advanced stats you wanted to talk about before we got into Petey's Puck Talk?
No, I just can we put the graphic up, or did you put it up already?
What graphic? Oh, his advanced stats graphic?
Yeah, the advanced stats one. And
do you have that one?
Did you send it to Sean?
I did.
It's before my stuff that I sent.
That's all right.
It was a fancy little... No, it's not there. He sent it to... I saw it.
Yeah.
It might have been just him personally, the 3 of us.
All 3 of you. That's okay.
There it is.
There it is. Look at
I missed that too. There's your peek behind the curtain, everyone. Our show prep. I completely missed that
I will say this about advanced stats and analytics. I looked at this for like 5 seconds and I said, no, too much. I don't get it.
Yeah, this is, oh my God, this is a lot of charts.
It is really, there's a lot going on here. So I'll let Craig explain.
Yeah, what is happening
My brain exploded.
Well, I mean, the categories here are broken down. Look, if you want to dive into his analytics, there are places to go like Hockey Viz where you can get a deep dive. Some of these are subscription required, but this is more looking at ice time, shots allowed versus shots generated, things like that. Some of this is helpful. Some of this obviously needs context, though. Like, who's he playing with? What's the role? There's always context required with.
Is Leah trying to read it?
Yes.
I don't get it. Here. I thought that was my blood results from Monday.
Okay. Since nobody prepped for this but me, let's just move on.
No, what does it tell us, Craig?
I just said it.
Brady said my brain blew up. Steven said my eyes.
Was it good or is it bad?
Take it off the screen.
Again, it needs context, right? Like if you're giving up more shots against, then you're generating. Oh, bad. No, like what's your role?
What's your defensive starts?
Right.
Who are you playing against? And that's where I keep saying in his role, he needs to be playing ultimately. And I don't even think he can bite this off this year. I think he needs to be playing against other teams' good players. I think at his size up the middle of the ice. But to do that, you're going to have to play. You're going to have to improve on your defensive reads and something else as we continue on.
Yep.
Okay. I see a sailboat. That's definitely an EKG in there. That's hilarious.
Somewhere.
Okay, well, we're going to get to Petey's Puck Talk here in a minute to kind of get a full breakdown of Jack McBain's game, a full deep dive, if you will. But before we do that, while you were explaining the advanced stats, I was on the BetMGM Sportsbook app looking at what futures are available to bet on in the NHL. Right now, and I won't read the whole list because there's a lot, but right now, if you open your BetMGM Sportsbook app, and you can bet on teams that will score 100 or more season points. My computer just froze. You can bet on the outright winner. You can bet on the nation of the Stanley Cup winning team. Canada is plus 320 at this very moment. Will an original 6-team win? Yes or no? The state or province of the winning team.
Bet on the country is hilarious to me because it's only 2 countries.
Bet on the state of New York.
And by the way, 30 years.
Yeah, you can bet on the winning conference, the winning division.
This guy.
You can, yeah.
Yeah,
you can bet on the nation of the winning team per conference. So you West versus there's just so much here. I can go on and on, but open your BetMGM Sportsbook apps, get your futures in today because things keep changing as teams add players, as training camps come and go. These lines are going to move. So if you want to get in on it now, do so. You don't have to put that much money down. I mentioned this on Friday. I woke up and BetMGM randomly gave me a free bet that I live bet on the D-backs game on Friday with Sean and Derek. So that was really fun. Just a ton of great stuff you can do on the BetMGM Sportsbook app. And if you haven't signed up yet, use the bonus code PHNX. If you're watching this right now thinking, no, you know what? I haven't. Take out your phone, download the app. Use bonus code PHNX when you sign up. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets If it loses with BetMGM, again, make sure you use the bonus code PHNX. You can check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 Nevada. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., Kansas, Nevada, New York, or Ontario.
Oh boy, I wish everybody could just hear what we talk about during that. Anywho, I went to Circle K this weekend to fill up on gas, and for the second time in a row, I've been at a gas pump that didn't have the screen play the odd. Like, I'm waiting. I want to see Sean. I want to see someone, and the 2 times I've gone to Circle K, there hasn't been the autoplay screen, which is funny. But I always go inside when I go to Circle K. I always grab their snacks because they have amazing snacks. Like, if you just get the Circle K branded snacks, like, they're cheaper than the other snacks, and they're better. Like, they just are. I personally love the salt and pepper chips. Money. And Craig and Sean were talking about the baked goods.
Could be getting something else in here soon. Just saying.
We'll see. So
sleeve of donuts.
They have that at Circle K as well. So make sure you're not missing out on all this great stuff right now. You can text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club and get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. Head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you. Okay, we had a bunch of super chats come in while we were reading that. So let's get to these. We'll start with Altex.
Did we pass the hat for Jack McBain? Is that what's going on here?
Altex said, becoming a diehard has made me appreciate all your hard work even more. Holy shit, there's so much to consume in this membership. Thanks for everything. Altex.
Wow.
Including advanced stats sometimes.
Altex, we appreciate that. And
Welcome
we're
to
so
Monday.
happy that you're finally a diehard.
So
Welcome to the
we
family.
need to know who your favorite player is.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the
Well,
Discord.
what do you mean? Who is it? It's Bukestad, isn't it?
Well,
Doesn't it have to be by default?
we need to revisit this in a couple weeks with Altex.
Altex, I'm just trying to push you along.
And then Brady echoed that and said, yes, being a diehard has opened my eyes.
Brady from KC.
Yep.
Played in the tournament last
Brady,
week.
we were super happy to see you become a diehard. And Steven said, y'all are awesome. Best Yotes coverage in the world. Wow, you guys are just hyping us up this Monday morning.
Can we take that screenshot and give it to our boss?
Yeah, seriously. We appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. And one of the best parts of being a diehard is we have Petey, who is a longtime NHL coach, took us behind the curtain last week on our Die Hard Only Hangout and gets to give us awesome insight into coaching. And this slideshow you're about to see was created by Petey and is identical to what is shown in NHL locker rooms.
So, Sean, did you see these slides in Slack? Just making sure.
Missed Craig's slides, but saw mine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's because you sent like 10 of them. But yeah, go ahead. I'm giving you the floor.
We want to say where does Jack McBain fit into this lineup and why? And I think these are some of the things that Jack McBain brings and some of the things that I think he needs to improve on in his second season. And you hope that the bar continues to raise. So we're going to start right off with his season from last year. Let's go to his goals.
God, it's almost like a headstone there for a moment there.
Oh my God.
God, 2022 to 2023. Jack McBain, we barely knew you.
Wow.
That was when he made a rounded up salary.
But I wanted to look at his 12 goals, and I think 12 goals. I think this year McBain's got to look for 15 to 20. I think McBain can be a 20-goal scorer in this league because I think how well he gets to the front of the net. When you look at this graphic to show where his goals are distributed, the red circles, and there are 6 goals where it just says net front, and we'll get into that in a minute. Blue is net drive. 2 green empty netters literally from the same place.
That's
and
funny.
S is a shot. So let's break these down on what happened. We're going to throw out the 2 empty net goals, but let's look at the things that he does well. The first thing he does well is he gets to the net front. So of his 12 goals, 6 of them, he's literally standing near the blue paint, tips it, goes off him, or he's able to take a rebound and tap it into the empty net. So what he does well is he understands once the play gets back to the point or to in a shooting position, Jack McBain gets to the blue paint. And if we had the ability to show video, but we're not Bally's, we would show how he beats his defender to the blue paint, how he pushes off his defender to the blue paint to get that positioning. And thirdly, he's really strong on his stick, because what defenders are taught is to get your stick under that player's stick and lift it up. Well, Jack's tough and he's strong and he's able to keep his stick on the ice to tap in these easy goals. So there's 6 goals where it looks like he literally just taps it into an empty net because he's in the right place and he uses his body to create space.
Yeah.
No, I just think you were going to say something. Like, do you want to talk about advanced analytics?
You talked about him being...
I hate us.
Okay. You mentioned you think he can be a 20-goal scorer in this league. How does he get to that point?
I think,
what does he need to add to his repertoire?
I think this is a part of it, but I think one of it, as this team continues to progress and he plays with different players, and we're going to see that this season, where I think he's going to get the opportunity to play with better players more consistently. I believe that, whether it's, we talked about Krause and Michelli, whether it's Zucker or Kerfoot, I think the wings right now are going to help McBain take that next step offensively, because he does get to the right areas, and getting to the right areas is half the battle. We talked about Barrett Hayton's progression and how his points started to raise. It's because he got to the blue paint with Schmaltz and Keller on the ice. If McBain can do that with players that can feed the front of the net, I think you're going to see his point total go up, whether it's assists from getting pucks out of that area onto people's hands, or if it's going off his body and he's cleaning up those rebounds. So I think that'll help him.
What about his actual shot, Petey?
We'll get to that in 2 slides.
Okay.
You clearly didn't read the slides.
No,
when
he
they
did.
Came
And he's doing it to me on purpose because I didn't watch his slide. So we go to the next one.
It together.
So the net drive. The other thing we talked about was his skating and his ability to, this is part of getting to the net, but we talked about his skating ability. He does drive the net hard. And when you look at these slides, there's something to look at. He keeps his stick on the ice. And in that top picture on the top right, he's driving the net. And because he keeps his stick on the ice and he drives that far post, he's able to be a passing option and he's able to tap the puck in. The other two, he is fighting off the defender and he's able to drive the net on his own. He's not afraid to go to the blue paint. And so when he doesn't have the puck, he needs to get there for tips and screens. When he does have the puck, he needs to drive. And we talked about that during the season when players like Keller, 2 years ago, Keller wouldn't drive the net. Last year, he did, and look at his increase in point total. I think Jack McBain needs to continue to have confidence in his skating ability to be able to drive to that blue paint. And then we go to, is that what was next? Oh, shoot. I thought it was his shot.
Well, we can skip
Okay,
ahead
his
to
shot. Only one of his 12 goals came from a shot. And when I mean a shot, it was outside of the dots and above the hash marks. He is going to have to, I think he's going to have to shoot more. And we talked about that with Michelli and his ability to shoot more. I think that may happen with Jack McBain. I think he's going to have confidence in his shot to shoot more, because his shot isn't a bad shot. I think he needs to use it more if we're going to see his point total increase. Yeah. I don't know if that was a confidence, that he didn't have the confidence in his shot, or he felt like he needed to just get to the net front and he didn't take those shots. But here you can see the picture on the screen now is the only goal he scored from outside the top of the circles. And we're saying by a foot. It's outside the top of the circle.
85 shots in 82 games. So he's basically getting one shot
a game. And he needs to get more.
Yeah.
I think if he's going to step up his offense, he needs to move up and get more shots on goal. And I think that 1 comes with confidence, 2, who you play with, and 3, your role. Yeah. And he may get more of an offensive role as this goes on. So I think he needs to shoot the puck more. I think his shot is effective. But as you can see, only 1 goal came off of a shot this entire season.
Watch him score a goal from a shot in the first game of the season.
Right. Because
the second thing that I think we talked about is offense, and I think that can improve. I think he is a 15 to 20 goal scorer, and I think that that's what this team will look for him this year. He is about his physical play, and when you talk about his physical play, my goodness, like the numbers on his physical play, he led the Coyotes to 304 hits. Second, O'Brien with 203. 100 more hits than O'Brien. He led all NHL rookies in hits by over 100. Over 200 hits. He was 4th in the entire league in hits and 2nd in hits by a forward.
Wow.
So his ability to be physical and change this game with his physicality and make hits was elite. He's 2nd in all forwards in the entire NHL last year in hits. So his physicality and his ability to hit is a huge part of his game. And if we go to the next slide, I want to show what that helps this do. When you look at 2 things his physical play can bring. On the forecheck, he skates well enough that he can be the first player on the forecheck. By hitting and being physical, he's able to, in this top example, he's able to get on the puck quickly, and he's able to separate the defenseman from the puck and allow the Coyotes to maintain offensive zone pressure. I think this is going to be a huge part of his game this season. Second set of slides, he's got Michelli on the ice. This is after the Bugstead trade. He tracks down the puck carrier, eliminates him along the wall, and allows Michelli to pick up the puck and again maintain more offensive zone time. This has to continue to be his strength. Along with that, I think one of the things he needs to do is he's going to have to learn when to hit. I think the sheer number is great, but there are times when he has to not hit, where he can get back in the play we talked about earlier. Two, I think he needs to learn a little bit, and I'm nitpicking his game now, where he has to learn on his angling. Sometimes he approaches the player from the wrong side of the puck, and you got to stay on the defensive side of the player. Those little details will come with experience. Because the third part, and the next part of his physical play, is his ability to fight. There are two players that have more fighting majors than McBain this season. That was O'Brien and Brown, two players that dropped the gloves a lot. I think McBain sticks up for his teammates. I think they weren't stage fights. They were protecting players that he was on the ice with.
Sure.
And as this team develops young talent and tries to move those young players forward, and there are a lot of young players on this team, you need someone out there that can protect their teammates. And we've talked about O'Brien being in and out of the lineup this year. McBain's going to have to take a bigger chunk of this, whether it's through his hitting and not dropping the gloves, or if it comes to it, he's going to have to drop the gloves fighting too.
That fight against the Chicago Blackhawks, I remember we were all at that game, and our jaws dropped at how tough this guy is. And I think it's underrated. Like, he's a tall, big guy, and because he has so many other skills in his arsenal, such as goal scoring and playmaking, that he's not just this, hitting, fighting role player guy. Like, he kind of has a lot going.
He's still going to get stronger too.
Yeah.
As he physically matures. A couple more points on the hits. I don't know if you looked these up for all time. 304 hits is the third most all time by a rookie in the NHL since they started tracking the stat. It's also a Coyotes record.
Yes, I remember
304 hits.
Beating
for the franchise.
For the franchise, all time.
Didn't he beat Lawson Krause or something?
You see what we just did there, Craig?
And
we
Luke
worked
Shen.
in tandem. You provided
advanced stats.
Yeah.
See, it can work together. We just need to communicate, and then we can work together on advanced stats. I do think that this is going to be his role, and that's why I like him in that 3-hole. That I think that his ability to be that physical, protect his teammates, I think it's going to allow him to get more ice time this season.
Yeah.
So I think that, along with the next thing, I think is going to allow him to get a lot of ice time. So one of the next things he does is he kills penalties. He was fourth in forwards on this team in penalty kill ice time per game, per 60 minutes, behind Fisher, Bugstead, and Krause. So he's in the second set of PK guys jumping over the boards. And with Christian Fisher gone, you're going to have to look that now McBain's going to have to play a bigger role there. So you're going to look at the two centermen there. You're going to have Bugstead and McBain are going to be your top two centerman for killing penalties, and he's going to have to get good at it. We talked about his ability to read plays. No place is more important in a game than killing penalties. You have to be able to move your feet, you have to be able to read plays, and you have to have good stick work. Those three things are imperative. He is only going to get better at that role.
Does his simple reach help him in this regard?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can see in that example, in those pictures, is his ability to get sticks into shooting lanes and passing lanes because of his size and his reach. And he's also quick enough to get to those spots because big guys usually don't move that well. I think he's going to be a high-end penalty kill for this team. And if you want ice time in this league, you have to find a niche either on the power play or the penalty kill. Have to.
I love watching elite penalty killers. The reason I asked, I thought of Michael Grabner immediately.
Yes.
And Michael Grabner isn't as tall as Jack McBain, but he had a long reach. He used an unusually long stick when he played the game, and that was one of his secret weapons as a penalty killer. And then, God help you if he actually got his stick on the puck because he's so fast.
He is the fastest player that's ever played in the Kachina. But the other thing that Michael Grabner did is over time, he knew how to read the play and he knew where to be, where that puck was going to go. He was an extremely talented penalty killer. McBain is good. He's a good penalty killer. But that comes with doing repetitions and playing that position a lot. And I think he will continue to get better as a penalty killer as he learns to read offenses and power plays, as his career goes on.
All right. Next thing.
Well, let's talk about some things he needs to improve on. If he is going to be the guy and he's going to be that big third line center that can be a defensive stalwart on this team, he has to get better at faceoffs. It's a huge part of playing center ice, and his faceoffs need to improve greatly. He finished third on this team in faceoffs with 44.1%, which is extremely low. You want to be closer to 50%.
A couple questions on this. People will talk about youth being a big part of this. Just experience makes you a better faceoff man. So I want your thoughts on that. And then, and I know this doesn't apply to everyone because there have been big centermen who are very effective on faceoffs, but being lower to the ice sometimes can be an advantage. So how does he mitigate? How does he make his height a strength? In the
Two things happen here.
Yeah.
One is, you're right, reps are going to be huge for this. The more experienced centermen in this National Hockey League, they're not the biggest, they're not the strongest, they're not the quickest. They're the smartest. And they know how to take a face up. They know how to exploit the opposing centerman's weaknesses because they've taken so many. He needs more reps. That will be number one. And that just doesn't mean game reps. He needs to spend, this is something he needs to do every day after practice, consistently dropping pucks.
It's more than that, though, isn't it? Watching other guys, too, learning tricks.
Absolutely. How to use your feet, where to position your hands. What does this guy traditionally do? It's a lot of homework going into a game. We had one of the things that when I was in that role still is the video coach, one of the things that the experienced centerman, I'll tell you, it was Derek Stepan. He would, every game, he wanted forehand and backhand faceoffs from all the centermen of the opposing team. And so he'd take the iPad and he'd watch faceoff after faceoff after faceoff of those players. But then what he did is he grabbed Christian Dvorak and he said, hey, come over here, sit with me. And then they'd go through it together. And Stepan, as the veteran leader, would help educate the younger centerman on here's things to look for. Look how he's positioning his feet. Look how his hand slides down his sticks. And I think that with centermen like Bukestad on this team, I think you're going to, who was over 50% last season, I think you're going to look McBain to look to a player like that to help get better. When you talk about size, his strength can be a huge factor in this. And it's not the low center of gravity. You could see back in the days where guys could put their hands on the puck or use their skates and grab more. I think it was more important to be able to get lower to the ground. I still think with his strength and his reach and his stick speed, I still think he can be a centerman that can get closer to 50%.
Study the Masters, though.
Yeah.
Study Patrice Bergeron. I'll start crying again because he's retired.
The other thing I think,
unbelievable face.
The other thing, and we're not picking apart his game. The other thing I think he needs to work on is, we talked about his speed already, but we talk about his ability to make quicker decisions. And there are 3 situations here where he has the puck, where he either has to dump the puck in, or he's got to make a play, or he's got to protect the puck. So if you look at the first example here, the Vancouver forward is bearing down on him. Instead of making the puck and delivering the puck into the zone and dumping the puck, he allows that forward to make body contact, separate him the puck, and then the puck's going the other way. On the second example, it's a 1-on-2. And Craig knows, on a 1-on-2 with the blue line, you got to dump the puck in. You got to dump the puck in. You're going to get beat. So he allows the back checker to rub him out. Colorado gets the puck. They're going back the other way. The third example is in the defensive zone instead of a hard rim or protecting the puck. With his size and strength, he's got to learn to protect the puck a little bit better, because in this example, again, he's pushed off the puck a little too easy because he doesn't make a quick decision, and Winnipeg ends up with the puck. So I think his puck decisions need to be a little bit quicker. And I know that's being nitpicky, but when you want to set that bar higher as an NHL player, those are some things to look for. So when you watch Jack McBain next season, here's what you're looking for. Getting to the blue paint. You got to get to the blue paint, whether it's off the rush or it's in 5-on-5 play. Beat your player to the blue paint. Watch for him to do that. 2, look for him when the puck's on a stick. Look for him to move that puck, whether it's dump the puck or move the puck quickly. And then look how he positions himself defensively when he's physical. Is he staying between the puck carrier and his own goaltender? Is he hitting on the defensive side of the puck? I think the bar is extremely high for Jack McBain, and I expect him to have a much better season this year. I do think he's going to get 15 to 20 goals, but I don't think he's going to get the 300 hits again, because I think he's going to learn when and why he's doing those physical hitting moves.
Wow, that was very thorough. Thank you. That was an ultimate Petey's puck talk on all areas of Jack McBain's game. So I hope maybe Jack's watching and he'll come and he'll be over 50% in faceoffs and take many more shots.
I hope so
next season. But great breakdown.
Thanks.
Before
no advanced stats though.
Craig chimed in with those before. Before we move on to our final few topics, I know we all did it. So which Four Peaks beer did you drink this weekend? Let's all go around and say what we drank.
Can I say two?
Yeah.
I actually had two. So I had WoW and Kill Lifter this weekend.
Craig had Kill Lifter.
I just went WoW this weekend, straight light in the heat.
Yeah.
I went WoW.
I had a pool day on Saturday and I brought WoW in a cooler and it went instantly just gone. Like everybody drank that.
Beer. It's such a good beer.
So good.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's hot. Drink Four Peaks to cool down or over the weekend or on your weeknights, whatever it may be. Check out Four Peaks. And you can buy Four Peaks wherever you buy your beer, like Target, Walmart, Circle K. You also should check out the H Street Pub because they have great food and drinks there as well. So you can check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. But you must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks. And please drink responsibly. And today is a great day because we are getting an illegal Pete's delivery to the office.
I saw that.
It is that's like my favorite day of the week when that happens. They're sending the queso, they're sending the salsa, they're sending the chips. Last time they sent a margarita mix for us. Amazing. Just great stuff. So check out.
Can we get them to send a bigger queso?
Yeah.
Do they have something called that size?
I will send them a Tupperware that they can then send the queso back. Yeah. Please and thank you.
Fill to this line.
If you haven't been to Illegal Pete's yet, check it out. On Mill Ave is your go-to spot for the summer. You can kick back and enjoy an ice cool margarita or cool off with a bucket of high noons. 5 high noons for just $22. And don't forget to follow at Illegal Pete's on Instagram to stay updated on all their big events and deals going down this summer. Stay tuned on their stories to win free tickets to the concerts you're dying to see. Illegal Pete's is here to make this summer one for the books. So stop by. It's really freaking good. And today's Margarita Monday. Tomorrow's Taco Tuesday. I can come up with something for every other day of the week, but just check it out. Okay. So a big thing that came up this weekend when McBain's contract got signed is there's only one roster spot left.
Yeah.
So now 49 of the 50 roster slots are filled. We talked about Jan Yannick on Friday's show, what could possibly happen there. We also talked about the fact that Bill Armstrong sometimes likes to have some flexibility to allow for waiver claims, etc. So we will have to see what happens. You can also check out Craig's story at gophnx.com, kind of broke that down a little bit further, all this different situations that can unfold with that last roster spot. But there is still one big unrestricted free agent who's not signed.
Unrestricted free agent to be. He has one more year.
True.
But it's a big deal.
Andre Tournier, whose syrup I ate this weekend, Petey. I had to bring it up.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Yeah.
You gave it to Sean.
I gave it to Sean because I'm a giver.
Who's a lead?
Any update on?
Just talks are progressing. They're progressing slowly, but they are progressing. And again, Andre said we talked about this in my Q&A, and he said, look, if he doesn't foresee a problem. Honestly, listen, my take is if the Coyotes make Andre Tournier a fair offer, this is going to be a quick turnaround. There's not going to be any animosity. There's not going to be wrangling back and forth over dollars and cents. Yes, I did say cents. I think it's going to be fairly easy. He wants to be here. That's the important thing. He wants to finish what he started. And I think everybody agrees. I think everyone within the organization agrees that they want to see that happen as well after what he's done with this team over the past couple seasons, highlighted by the progression of their core players, which I think is a real testament to his coaching style. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't think that there's a definite timeline on this or a hard deadline on when to get this done, but obviously it would be nice to get this done before the season started because you don't want that in the back of your mind or as a distraction once the games start getting played.
You always hear, Craig, when you talk about timing like that, you always hear, oh, well, I'm not thinking about it. Bull. If you think you're going to work every day and not thinking about where am I going to work next June, you're out of your mind.
Yep.
It bothers you every single day. I don't care if you sit there, well, I'll push it onto my mind. You don't. It's there, and you can go in front of the media. You can say, no, it's not. I'm not thinking about it. I'll worry about my contract when the contract. No, you're worrying about it. It seeps into everything you do because you start thinking the management team is doubting me. Now, in this case, I don't think that's the issue here in Arizona.
Nope.
This is all going to come down to money.
Yep.
And again, I'm going to, behind the curtain, how many times have you heard an athlete say, this is not about the money? Guess what? It's about the money. Because it is. They can say, oh, I want to win, or I bet that bull. You want the money because you have a finite amount of time to make that money. This needs to get cleared up sooner rather than later. And I hope they make the right decision because there are going to be a lot of suitors looking for Andre Tournier that could take what he had last year and making the most. We call it making chicken salad out of chicken shit, but that's what he did. And so he is going to, I swore twice in this show, by the way. I feel terrible, Dan. I think they need to get this done before the season starts.
Me too.
Nicholas said they were saving that one penny from McBain's contract to push Bear's contract over the finish line. Oy! Well, speaking of efficiency and contracts, there was an Athletic article today, right?
Yeah.
By Dom Lashushkin. Is that how you say it? Lashushkin.
Although
Ranked.
that could be one of the many. I didn't get it in time from Dom, but I asked him for like the top 5 mispronunciations of his name. You can imagine what that.
I feel like I hopefully did better than how some people.
You did. You got most of it.
The article is titled "NHL Contract Efficiency Rankings in 2023: Which teams spend their money the most wisely?" And to the surprise of a few, the Arizona Coyotes made the top 10.
No, let's read through these because it's really telling, right?
Well, and also I should mention that the Coyotes were in 27th last season, so they had a huge jump up to 9th.
Yeah.
So do you want to run through them, Craig?
Sure. Number 1, Florida Panthers. They played for the Cup last season. They were in the Cup final. Carolina Hurricanes. They were a heartbeat away from playing for the Cup. They were a conference finalist. Number 3, Colorado Avalanche. They won the Cup 2 seasons ago. Number 4, Boston Bruins. They won the President's Trophy last year. Number 5, New Jersey Devils. Big breakout season for the Devils last year. Number 6, Minnesota Wild. Petey, are you happy about that?
I think that'll get better when they can lose Suter and Parisi.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Number 7, Vegas Golden Knights. They won the Cup. Number 8, the Edmonton Oilers. Gave Vegas as tough a series as anybody, and obviously they have a couple of elite players. But number 9, this is where we break the mold, the Arizona Coyotes. And this is what it's all about for a franchise that is literally watching dollars and cents. You have to be efficient with your contracts. You can't make mistakes because they can hurt you down the road. Bill has said this so many times. Being a GM for the Coyotes is a really tough job. You don't have the luxury of mistakes like other teams have, where you can make a mistake on a contract. Maybe you can buy them out if you have the money, or you're able to retain some of the salary and move them. The Coyotes can't do those sorts of things. They have to make sure that every one of their contracts is locked in at a good value. Now, there are some on here that the Athletic did not give great grades to, but it's not like they were passing grades. But overall, they give the Coyotes a B+ for their contract management, for their efficiency, which brings them in at number 9 in the NHL. And again, when you look at who they're on the list with, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's true. And one of the deals they spotlight here is the Matias Maccelli contract. And for as much as we gave the Coyotes shit for the penny, like that was a good deal for the Coyotes. And not just that, something we talk about a ton on the show, Clayton Keller's deal is starting to look better and better as the years go by. Even Nick Schmaltz's deal looks good. Yeah, and Barrett Hayton, who had a breakout season last season, and it's exciting to think about the possibilities for the individuals on this team this season. And Craig, I hadn't even noticed the company they were keeping in the top 10 there. Yeah, that's really telling and really fascinating. So hopefully that translates well in the years to come, as the team kind of makes a left turn out of this rebuild. But yeah, it's very interesting stuff. So I know you said you want to try and get Dom on the show to break some. He's like a stat. Speaking of advanced analytics,
Pete will take that show off.
My brain, I can't take it.
I can't. But just props to Bill Armstrong, David Ludwig for the work that they're doing behind the scenes to create this sort of cap structure, because they're going to need it. It's going to be really important that they don't make mistakes.
Yep. I'm curious who's last on this list. I'm scrolling to the bottom.
All right.
Scrolling. I'm scrolling. I'm almost there. It's the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh.
32nd. And
Oops.
Anaheim is 31st. Columbus is 30th. Oh, wait. What do those three teams have in common? They picked 1, 2, 3 in the
Indeed.
2023 NHL draft. But anyway, yeah, God, if this Bear contract gets signed, then the last thing hanging over our heads is the thing that shall not be named. But otherwise, like, this is a bright future.
Hockey Ops is doing its job.
Yep.
Hockey Ops is
And you know
doing
what?
its job.
I have to say, it's been really fun to just talk about the hockey for this last couple months, you know?
Yeah,
It really has been.
and now as we get closer to things like Australia and training camp and rookie camp, all of those things are going to get, unfortunately, pushed to the side because we'll be talking arena a lot more as the season gets closer.
Yeah, well, hopefully we have something positive to talk about when that time comes. But as we get excited for the Coyotes season, if you're looking to buy some great Coyotes gear, apparel, bobbleheads, etc., check out our friends at FOCO because they're the leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise, apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, etc. Most of the little tchotchkes, which is a great word, by the way,
Is.
spelled not how you would expect, all around our set, especially in the commish studio. It's courtesy of FOCO, so check them out. Great gift idea, by the way, for the sports fan in your life. And they always have your back for Arizona sports, so you can get the best gear around by visiting FOCO.com. That's FOCO.com, and using code PHNX. And for all non-presale items, use promo code PHNX for 10% off. Speaking of great merchandise, the three of us are all rocking PHNX t-shirts today, black. We finally coordinated.
Yep.
We didn't talk about this, but we really do have the best gear around, I will say. So you can check out PHNXlocker.com. And if you log on to GoPHNX.com today, you might notice it has a little bit of a different look. So go on the website, check out the redesign. It's beautiful. And while you're there, and if you're not already a diehard, become a diehard. You heard the great testimony of the people in our chat today about what being a diehard is and gives you, and we can go on, but you can join our Discord. You can get 20% off merchandise, 20% off events, a free shirt or hat every year at sign up. There's just a ton of great perks to being a diehard, including access to Craig's weekly diehard only content as well. And Petey's gonna drop some more stuff in the Discord today as well.
Yeah. Well, I just got a text message this morning, speaking of the PHNX locker, from Eddie Lack, friend of the show. He bought 2 t-shirts this
Get
morning.
out of here.
That's awesome.
He bought the Assassin's Black Retro, and he bought, of course, the Josh Doan tee.
Well, who doesn't
Awesome.
have that?
Awesome stuff. So
Yeah.
be like Eddie Lack. Shop at the PHNXlocker.com, grab your membership today, and become a diehard. And last thing from us today, speaking of diehards, we have some very talented ones. And Cheryl shared this in our Discord, was doing some cross-stitching. This is unbelievable, by the way.
Cheryl's talented.
And created this out of a quote that Andre Tourigny said on our show that we did at the Ice Den, which was, "It's not the size of your house, it's the happiness in the house." And Cheryl literally did this herself, made 2, so there's an extra one, and we need to decide what should happen to it, if we should give it to Coach
Cheryl's
Tourigny,
offered it up.
if we should like do some sort of charity auction, if we should give it away. Cheryl, we're open to your ideas. Chat, we're open to your ideas. But
Serenade in the discourse, in case you guys didn't know, but you
Yes.
probably did already. But
Yes, but we wanted to spotlight this amazing work because I am so blown away and impressed.
Right?
And honestly, Cheryl, if you made more of these, I would buy one.
I think we need to arrange a meet up with Andre Tourigny, and that needs
I think
to
he
go.
would be.
They would hang that in the office in the coach's room.
that's a pretty awesome idea.
And I think that she
We can,
should
like,
get to meet
get
him
it-
and present it.
We can kind of like frame it.
Frame
you know?
it.
Yeah.
That would
Well,
I'm
she is in
telling you.
Pittsburgh, though, so
They they have
The
mail.
mail.
I guess the meet and greet. Oh,
I
he
feel
could
like-
meet. We can if we could pull that off.
Oh, in Pittsburgh.
in Pittsburgh.
oh,
We do know the
That's
security
an
and
idea.
travel guy.
that's an
She can
idea.
get there for a practice. That's going to take some work.
Yep.
But we know
Well,
people.
Cheryl, you're very talented. So we appreciate your work. It's awesome. Okay, well, anything else before we head out? Oh, we
I'm
have another
good.
super chat from Alltex. Said, despite loving Bukestad and having the Kachina, I can't take that away from Petey. Yeah, because he's considering Bukestad as his favorite player.
Well, I don't think it's taking away. I think it's sharing.
It's adding.
Sharing is caring.
My personal feeling is you should choose someone from another state.
other than Minnesota? Are
I
there?
don't know what
or
the hell.
province,
Yeah,
or
why-
I'm
nation.
surprised as a St. Louis person yourself that you're not a.
He's-
Well, Clayton
Yeah.
Keller, it's like an obvious choice. Altex always goes off the beaten path.
That's
so.
true. Anywhere but Minnesota.
All right, Altex, we will sort this out before the season starts. Anything else?
Nope.
There's coffee cake in the kitchen.
There is. Did you know there's coffee cake?
I heard there's coffee cake. It's
Yeah.
right next to
Oh,
the
boy.
printed
For those
advanced
who
stats.
appreciate their coworkers.
We
Yeah.
appreciate you all so
Yeah.
much. Hit the like button on this video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on audio, leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at @SPeterTalkie, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at Sean_DePaz, and you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. We're live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. every day. All throughout the offseason, we have some great guests on deck for this week, which we'll share more in the coming days. But in the meantime, everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we will see you all tomorrow. Bye.